Go ahead and get a quick kind of video synopsis of this area. This is actually a pyramidal shaped structure from the aerial perspective. I'm right here on the 33rd degree, northern parallel meridian, and these are all very distinct in their sovereignty, I guess you could say. They're all singular by themselves, although they're part of a system, evidently. And so you can see these mounds are really here. And so this is a fascinating thing. This is some of the last land that has not been sold in Plano, Texas. It's worth a fortune, and it continues to mature, of course, but the real enigma is, the interior of these structures, what they hold, and what type of role have they played. What I can tell you is that EDS, which was once owned by Ross Perot, that building is right up here. That's it right there. And that's an interesting kind of thing. And another president, or at least, of course, Ross Perot was a presidential candidate and he lost, but George Bush, the tollway, is actually on the 33rd parallel meridian, just up the road from here. And so the way that all those pieces fit together and, kind of how I'm covering this are an enigma to me, but it's interesting to be led to a place like this, and you can see these things are real mounds. And if you've ever studied mounds, look at this thing. I mean, perfect. Beautiful. Look at the symmetry on that. And we see that they're divided here. It probably indicates that they're a tomb, or at least a vessel of some sort to hold relics and such. And that's consistent with some of the other reports that I've heard from around the area. That would include one of the mounds that I've shown you guys, which is owned by somebody who's heavily vested in precious metals. And these are rumored in some instances to hold gold and other precious metals themselves. And so that's an interesting piece of the puzzle as it plays into wealth, the play out of how that money is an influence in things all the way up to the level of elections and so on. So corporatism and everything else. All very important things to consider right here on the 33rd degree. And I'm going to continue working on this, but you can just see the aerial perspective of this is beautiful. I mean, it's like a map. And so I haven't gone and run those against star constellations yet. I'm going to wait till something kind of says, hey, this is what they are, before I do that. Perhaps I may get a computer program to do it. That's not really my style. I'm much more organic, despite all of the satellite imagery. That's pretty abnormal for me to do. I haven't ever really been one of the guys to do the satellite stuff in the past, but I don't know. I just dove into something and I'm still going on it. This is where it led me right back to where I had been the whole time, full circle. So that was pretty neat. But I just wanted to give a ground perspective of what these look like here. You can see that there's, one there. It's back there. Another one here. And one of them is real kind of sunken in. This area here is in question. It's weird because it's lower down. And so those may actually be tunnels. And that's what I would suspect. There is a network of tunnels that has been integrated into the public works, and here they are. So that's consistent with that finding from the aerial look. The tunnels that you can see running through here, okay, go straight into these mounds. And they come straight out. And so that really is indicative of a pattern and a planning system that we've seen throughout. And that's a pretty fascinating point because it shows complex engineering aspects to the planning of how to maintain these structures right out in the middle of open. And the public is none the wiser. You have to be in part of a little group. I can assure you this land on the 33 is sacred to a group of people in the area, just as it is up at the Hopewell Ceremonial Earthworks. The UNESCO World Heritage came in there and said, hey, you guys are concealing this. We want to make it a World Heritage. They took them to court. I don't know how I feel about that. I mean, when you see a group of Freemasons the Mound Builders Freemasons in Ohio, who own the Mound Builders Country Club up there, fighting with somebody like the UNESCO World Heritage in court. You hate to have to pick a side, but who do you side with? You know? I'm not going to answer that, but I think that, you know, I can appreciate the sovereignty of the United States. I can also appreciate the idea of, you know, all knees shall bow and everybody's going to be under, you know, the same system eventually. Not the one world order per se, but type of system that is better for us all. That's what the Bible says. So if that's too much for you, take it with a grain of salt. But look here, just beautiful. And I'm going to get with these people. I actually talked to some people off the record just before I hopped over here. I did get permission, and that's pretty neat to have that. We're going to continue to try to dive in and get some people on record about this formally. That's what I'm looking for. And so if you're aware of the work and you're monitoring it, we know that you guys are out there, let us know. You know, say hello. You guys know how to find me, obviously. You guys have done it a lot of different times. I'm certainly happy to talk to you, and I don't want to misrepresent what you're about or play into any, you know, theories that aren't true or whatever, but the public does have the right to kind of know what's going on out here. So that's how I feel about it. Okay, there's a children's hospital right over there. Isn't that interesting? Usually owned by the Shriners. So there you go. Okay, love you.